everybody, welcome to the first introductory session of the UCIL course on Artificial Intelligence, Robot Overlord. Is it a replacement or is it a colleague? First things first, let me just introduce you the team that we have here with us. So I'm Iliada Eleftheriou, I'm the course leader of this unit. We've got Caroline J here with us.
Hello.
Would you like to say a little bit about yourself?
Yeah,
Caroline?
sure. So I'm based in the School of Computer Science. So I do research on how people and technology interact so that we can improve the way we design technology. And I'm going to be sort of running some of the computer science aspects of this module.
And we have Andy Brass with us.
Hi, so I'm a professor of bioinformatics. I'm in the School of Health Science. And our interest in this is when you come into areas like healthcare, a lot of the future is going to be around how artificial intelligence is going to be used in health. That raises lots of really quite interesting and exciting issues, an example of where a traditional industry is going to be changed significantly by the introduction of artificial intelligence.
And Fran Hooley.
Oh, hi, I'm Fran Hooley. I'm a lecturer in Technology Enhanced Learning. I'm supporting the educators on the course in terms of delivery, so looking at how we can reuse different materials, learning materials, such as we're using Medium in this course, so we're going to try that and see how that works. So all about reusability of learning materials, that's where I'm coming from. Nice to meet you all.
And in the Robot Overlord team, we've got some very good tutors, experts in their fields. They are working towards achieving their PhDs. They are experts in robotics, machine learning, artificial intelligence. Guys, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Shall I go first? Okay, do I have to use?
Yes, yeah.
Hello everyone, thank you for being here. I'm Samuele Binanzi and I'm a PhD student at the Center. I'm working in the Cognitive Robotics Lab here at the University of Manchester, looking at how humans and robots can interact in collaborative ways.
Hi, I'm Marta Romeo and I'm in the same lab as Samuele, so the Cognitive Robotics Lab, and I'm actually working with human-robot interaction and how we can make these little guys gain some sort of social intelligence through machine learning so that we can even use them in sectors such as healthcare and see how they can be useful for society.
Hello everyone, my name is Aynur Bigalinova. I work in Machine Learning and Optimization Research Group in Computer Science Department. My research topic is in industrial robots, also robot manipulation, teleoperation, prosthetic, and basically how we can use senses into and convert it into something meaningful. So if you have any questions, please ask, don't hesitate about anything, practical questions, theoretical questions about machine learning or robotics, we are here to help.
We also have two third-year students who are students of the School of Computer Science that they helped us develop some parts of this course unit. So Press.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Preslav Venkov and I'm a third-year student in the School of Computer Science, and together with Paul, the other guy who's not here today, I'm working on the actual infrastructure of the lab that you guys are going to be doing. So it's a system where you guys are going to be able to log in and play around with the code for the first time, for some of you maybe, and also you're going to be able to learn and experiment with some machine learning techniques. So I hope you enjoy it and I hope it works for all 70 of you. So it's going to be a good test.
That number's only going to go up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Press. And we've got two lovely ladies from UCIL.
Hello, hi, so I'm Angela and this is Joanne. So we are the UCIL administrators, so you might have contacted us about enrolling on the unit or with any queries. So if you have any queries about your enrolment, about marks, about coursework, about submissions, about anything to do with the unit whatsoever, or being a UCIL student in general, then obviously don't be afraid to find us. We're at University Place, upstairs, third floor, and you can drop us an email at University College and we're more than happy to help you. So we hope you enjoy the unit and it's really nice to meet you.
Thank you. Oh, and last but not least, we have Faye behind that camera. We've got Dan on the sound and Dave over there. So they come from the media services, and they help with all the filming, the editing of the videos that you will be seeing throughout this course. So thank you, guys. Did I miss anyone? Oh, I've missed Pepper. Samuela, do you want to introduce Pepper?
Yes, sure.
There you go.
Okay, so you've probably already noticed that here, this is Pepper. This is one of the robots that we use for our experiments. We didn't actually develop it, so we'll work more on the artificial intelligence side of robotics. We're computer scientists. This is a robot that's being produced by a Japanese/French company, SoftBank, and it's a social robot. Social robot means that it's a robot made to interact with humans in human environments. So homes, offices, streets, shops, things like this. In particular, Pepper is made for human-robot interaction. So she's good at engaging with people, interacting with her. You can have chats with her, ask her to do things and stuff like this. The kind of research that we do is about making her useful for precise scopes. For example, Marta is using her, as she was saying, in healthcare to help elderly people do things around home. Robots, I don't know if any of you has ever seen a robot before that is not an industrial robot, but actually a social humanoid robot. Basically, these machines are equipped with lots of sensors to be able to perceive the world around them. In particular, this robot has some cameras that are actually up here and up here. These, in the eyes, are depth cameras, so she's able to see, perceive the depth of what she's seeing, the distances. Then she's got some touch sensors behind her hands and above her head. Yes, sir. She can walk around, so she can navigate places, and for that she's got, right down here, she's got lasers and sonars to be able to detect obstacles and make a mental image of the world that's around her. And if that's not necessary, she's got some bumpers to let her know if she went to bang into someone or something. Now, here she is. As I said, Pepper can talk with people. She's good with that. What she does is that she usually looks for a face. I think that she found one. And she'll start listening. So, if I'll try to catch her attention. Hello, Pepper.
Hi.
Here she is. If you want to show us, I think, some demonstrations of how this robot moves around.
It's time for some workout.
Yes, and that was Pepper. You'll probably get to know her better during the weeks of this course. And I think that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you, Samuela. Thank you, Pepper.
For now.
I'll just avoid that she starts speaking.
So as you can see, we're a very big team. We're all very excited about this new course. We're all here to support you through your learning. But first things first, what does artificial intelligence mean to you? Andy?
So this course is only going to work because it's about interaction, collaboration, communication. So it's the dialogue that we're going to be having during this course, which is where a lot of the learning is going to be happening. So to start with, we'd like you to go to the website there. I think we asked you to bring a device. And there's a code there. And we want you to just start putting in words. What does artificial intelligence mean to you? We'd like to get a feel for the sort of things that artificial intelligence makes you think about. What do you think of the issues, the challenges, the excitements? And we're just going to start collecting some of those. Hopefully this will turn into something like a word cloud.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we can
Yeah.
show that at the same time.
So if we can get that.
Oh, you got it there.
Yeah, do that. Do you guys need the code? Oh, Terminator. Wow. So the code is 45, 48, 42.
Okay. So put that in, that should take you to the site, and then you can start entering words in there. And we thought it would just be fun just to start with to get a feel for what you thought about. Have people been able to get onto that?
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So I'll just give you just a minute or two just to think, because it's sometimes quite interesting as you see other people's ideas coming through. It maybe trigger some thoughts for yourself. Okay. So, convex optimization. That's sort of techie. Yeah. Neural network, smart, algorithm, innovation, not human. Okay. So just get a feel. Healthcare singularity. Help. Okay. So it gives you, I think it's interesting for us just to get a feel for the sorts of ways that people are thinking about computing here, because it's self-thinking, intelligence, artificial. There's some positive things in there around convenience, future-orientated. It's also interesting to see there's some negative things in there. Uncontrolled learning, robot uprising. It keeps changing. Sorry? Terminator. Sort of negative. So I think that's one of the things that we're sort of interested in. There's a lot that's changing in this space. Some of it quite positive, some of it quite negative. We know it's going to start impacting things, but how's it going to make a difference? So I'll just maybe hand over to Caroline next just to talk through then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one of the things that we're going to be reflecting on in this course unit is why artificial intelligence matters. Like, why does it matter to any of you? So you're going to come from a really diverse range of backgrounds. Are there any computer scientists in this room? One. Okay, good. I'm glad that you're glad you have that background. That's excellent. So that's somebody who's been helping write your coursework. So what kinds of backgrounds actually are people from? So how many are from a humanities background? Yeah? Other science background, physics, chemistry, biology? Yeah? Languages? Any languages people? One? Okay. We've got a few linguists on the course, I know that. So you're all from a really big sort of variety of backgrounds. So the question is, what difference does it make to people who aren't computer scientists, any of this? Okay, so what difference will it make to you, in particular in the workplace? And we think it's really important that all of our graduates at the University of Manchester have an understanding of how they can work with technology. So one of the key things we're going to be looking at here is sort of reflecting on what artificial intelligence means and how it works, and then asking, you know, what does this mean for me in my future career? How can I work with it? So you can see on the screen lots of headlines as well. So here we're looking not just at how it's going to affect you maybe in the workplace or as an individual, but actually what it means for society as well. And lots of decisions are being made at the moment, and you will remember possibly from what's happened with Facebook recently, Cambridge Analytica, if you're familiar with that story, that actually lots of decisions have been made in the past that we're only starting to look at now and go, okay, was that a good idea? This thing's happened. Did we realise at the time that this was going to happen? Possibly not. So this is one of those things I probably shouldn't go on record as saying, but I think it's very common when you're inventing new technologies, and this happens all the time and it continues to happen, that the people inventing the technologies have nothing but the best goal in mind for their technology, but actually it's really hard to see what the consequences of that are going to be. So this has been the case for a while, and it's still the case now. So actually, by taking some time to reflect on these things, you can be part of that conversation as well. Okay, we do not leave this just to the people developing the technology. This is not something just for the engineers. This is something for everyone to think about. And when you're informed about how it works and you start to get an idea of what's going on and what the possibilities are, then you, as people working in other fields, will be able to have input into that debate as well, and it'll be informed input.
So by the end of this course, you'll be able to understand the science behind the headlines. So you'll be able to read an article and understand what is going on. You will also be able to develop informed opinions on the complexities of artificial intelligence, the complexities of artificial intelligence algorithms and applications. You will also be able to understand the strengths and opportunities of current artificial intelligence technologies, but most importantly, its weaknesses and limitations. Also, you'll be able to understand the benefits that artificial intelligence can have when it is embedded in our society, but also the threats. Finally, you will develop the skills to be able to critically evaluate any artificial intelligence applications that you might encounter in the future, in your workforce, or into your everyday lives.
I think we're very comfortable that whatever area you go into, AI is going to be making an impact on the area that you're working in. Whatever, just in trying to interact with society, AI is going to be making impact, whether it's looking at your credit scores, whether it's supporting your healthcare, whether it's controlling the information you can see on your social media. We know that AI is going to be playing a big role. So what we're going to try and do in this module is, in quite a systematic way, build your knowledge and understanding of the area, and hopefully as we go through, get a really lively debate and communication going between the students on the course on this. So we're going to start, robots in our lives, a nice gentle introduction that just talks about an understanding of the ways that sort of robotics and AI are out there. What is it you're aware of? What does, collectively, do we know what's going on? So we've got a rough idea of the sort of landscape about where AI and robotics are now. But then to start thinking about the ethics and dilemmas of AI. There are lots of ways in which AI, we're a bit nervous about it. So, I mean, a nice example that I ran into recently, I was at a conference talking about global health and how AI was going to make a massive difference in global health, and we're going to make lots and lots of use of AI to make lots of these big decisions in health because health is really expensive, we can't get enough people, we need to support people. But somebody gave an example of flying. I guess most people will have been in an aeroplane. And most people will be probably aware that aeroplanes have systems that allow the plane in bad conditions to land automatically. But we have a pilot there. And the question they asked of a room full of AI experts was, you're in there in the plane, it's going to be landing, and the pilot walks out of the cockpit and sits among the passengers and just starts chatting. And mentions quite cheerfully that they're just going to let the plane land itself. And then asked the room of AI experts, how many of you would be uncomfortable at this point? I mean, we could do that here. I mean, how many people here would be uncomfortable if you're on a big Airbus and the pilot comes and sits in back and starts chatting? Most people are uncomfortable. That is a really good established technology that works actually quite well. But we're asking people to let AI make decisions about their cancer care, about their credit. So we're asking AI to make decisions in ways that would actually be uncomfortable in other ways. So there's lots of issues that we need to start getting our head around. So week 2 is beginning to think about a framework in which we can think about the ethics of AI and the way that it works with society. I think once we've then got that sort of framework established, we want to go into a little bit of detail about how we do things like machine learning. How do we learn from data? What are the sort of the biases and things that can be built in? So you've got a bit of an understanding of what's happening underneath the hood, because unless you understand what's happening underneath the hood, it's a little bit hard to know what the issues and challenges might be. Then, okay, is it going to be a threat to the workforce? So looking at different ways that AI is going to be used in the workforce. In some cases, it can be incredibly disruptive and might be actually meaning there's less jobs for you guys when it's finished. In other ways, it could actually be creating whole new opportunities that if you were just a bit aware of, you could be taking advantage of. Where is it there? How's it going to affect society? There's going to be big impacts of the fact that we're allowing systems to make decisions for us. How is that going to impact? And then all sorts of nice issues around the legal issues. Because if you've got things that aren't humans making decisions, who do you shout at when it goes wrong? You know, really odd question. Then around probably the one that actually at the end of it is probably, it sounds daft, these bits aren't so hard. Sorry, but we can do the techie stuff a bit, but the ethics and governance, how do you actually build a legal framework for things like self-driving cars? That's way outside of the scope of what we'd normally teach in computer science, but something that everybody's going to have to get involved in. So hopefully at this point here, you'll have got a really good framework in which to be thinking about AI in society and building it up gradually, but doing it all in the context of I've got a nice case study for you, which is around a particular local business and how AI has come into there and how it's changed and really revolutionised what they've done. So all these, but in a nice case study there. And then at the end, we think it's quite important that you just have a go at using some of these tools. So we've actually got some stuff built to try and make it, to give you an opportunity to have a go at using some of these tools yourselves, but in a framework that we hope, don't we, has made it, I think it's quite useful if you've just got a little bit of hands-on experience of actually having a go at someone using these technologies yourself, because I think doing it yourself with support might, again, help develop your understanding. So that's then the coursework at the end. So the idea is to gradually build up this framework and then give you a chance to try something at the end. Right. Yeah, how are we going to do that? Right. I'm not, again, I probably shouldn't say this, I'm not a huge fan of just sitting down and telling people things. I don't think something like this you're going to learn just through listening to stuff. I think our job as educators is to help you create your own dialogues and conversations around this. So the learning, I'm really hoping, will happen through things like the conversations and the group work and the things like that. So there's a lot of material on the site, different interviews, different bits and pieces to give you a frame, but then there are activities that you'll be doing in small groups that help develop that learning. So there's going to be lots of group discussions online as you slowly work through each of these different stages, and we have the team of people here to help through that. So it's going to be through group work. I think we've got a really good case study from, you want to say, just...
We've got loads of case studies.
Yeah.
We've got one on face recognition. We've got one with Marta on robots in social care. We've got another one with Samuele. And we have Scott from theology on AI and ethics.
So lots of different...
loads of case studies.
Yeah. Which will then trigger discussions, debates, and we'll be using tools like Medium to actually help you sort of capture your thoughts and ideas around that. Mm-hmm. So it's a very much a collaborative social learning that's framed by the material we're giving you. So the idea is at the end of this, you have to be able to go out and have these conversations and know how to engage with this. So the way that the course is organised is to try and help develop those skills. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so we mentioned one of the tools already, medium.com. Has anybody used it before? You've used it? Anybody else? No? So what I was going to do was just take you through, getting into the homepage, logging in, and just take you through a couple of pages and just get you to sort of actually putting in your responses. So if I just take you there now, is it escape? Yeah, you do. Okay.
There we go.
Okay. So there it is. So medium.com, please follow if you've got your device in front of you and you just want to have a click through, you can follow as I go. So I need to log in. So can you, let me just make sure this, so let's go to, so once you've got in there and you create your own account, I would suggest using either a Google or your Gmail or whatever you've got set up already, rather than setting up an email and a separate address for it, because it doesn't take your password. So you have to keep going back to your email, going back to the link, and then going onto the system. So use something you've already got set up, such as your Gmail, and then it's just searching for AI robot. Publications. And you can see here we've got the nice little, the two hands, that's the picture on the left-hand side. So I'm going in here as a writer currently because I'm under Iliada's login. But once you get onto that home page, if you want to try going onto course information, which is on the left-hand side, and that just gives you a bit of an overview of what you'll find on the publication, what we're going to use it for, and essentially we've decided to use it because it broadens the debate. We're taking it outside of the university so that you can start, collecting different stories from across. Well, we've got no, there's no boundaries. This is a free account, so you'll be setting up a free account. If there's a star next to a story, that means it's a paid article. You're only allowed 3 of those per month, but because we're creating this publication and adding all the stories on there, you'll be able to just read everything that we put on there, so you should get access. So if you go to course information as the first port of call, there's the overview telling you the approach that we're taking, and then you can meet your educators. So we've got Caroline, Andy and Iliada here, who if you click over the top of the little box, it takes you to their profile page, and this is where as you log on, you'll obviously have your own profile page, but this is where you can start collecting things. So to start off, follow all your, so you follow, I'm on Iliada's here, so it's already Iliada. Let me go back a step. I'll try a different one. Let's try Andy. And it's so straightforward to use. When it decides to, and you're already following him. So you can see there, the follow's there. As if by magic, I've already done it. That's fine. So yeah, follow the educators. And then if you go back to the top, and then with the second one along to the right, AI in the news. So this is getting us thinking about all the different, there's writers on the Medium site that are writing about AI in all sorts of different disciplines. So we wanted to capture some of the bits on Medium, but also wider than that. So we've got AI in the news, and there's tons, absolutely tons of stuff out there. So this page will fill. Currently it's just got the one article. So a bit of an overview, and then what we want you to do when you join the course is start reading some of these articles we've collected, and if you can try maybe 2, just sort of have a look at them. Each of these go off, click the link, it takes you out, and you can start reading it. As you can see, there's quite a few, covering various different aspects that we've chosen for you just to get your head round AI. As you can see here on the bottom, it runs by tags, so throughout the course we'll tag some bits together, so maybe we'll have a debate, there'll be a tag that you'll add to your story that's basically to group things together. At the bottom of here, what else we'd like you to do is to write a response. So you're not writers on this publication, but what we'd like you to do is add your response, and then as we start looking through the articles, it might be that we add your article to the publication. So other students in later cohorts, they can read what you've done. So you're just clicking on write a response there. If I just scroll down a little bit, you've got the two buttons at the bottom. If you click to go full screen, it gives you more bits and pieces you can add to the page, so there's more editable stuff. So essentially, you're just starting to write. So it's just my response, if I can type, to AI in the news. Obviously, you don't have to put that. You can be more... It's because you're all watching me. I can't do it when you're all watching me. You can be a bit more, you know, creative in terms of your title. And then in terms of editing, you just type away. Oh, I can't type. I definitely can't type. Okay. And then if you highlight that, you see the text editor come up. So if you wanted to give it a bit of structure, some subheadings, add a bit of a break in your story, you can do that. So you can change that to a larger heading. And then if I go to this and then copy a link. So say you've found something that's out there on the web and you just basically want to add it into your story. So you'd write a bit of an overview. This is what I found. This is what I think is important. Give your view. Then if you see the little embed icon there, Control and V to paste it in. No, it's not because I'm on a Mac. Yes. There we are. Yeah, okay. And then return. And then eventually it'll catch up with itself. And you just get the nice, you know, it gives you that structure in terms of the link, but it gives you a bit of an overview and it gives you a picture. And what we want you to do is just respond to the AI in the news article, read a couple of those articles on there, and then respond to it at the bottom, and then publish it. You can add tags, so you can add a tag to there, but don't worry about tags for this particular story. And then you can request to add to the publication. But all the instructions on this are on the Blackboard site, but we'll be using this for external conversation around all the topics that you'll be covering, and you can sort of drag in all those other sites outside of the university as well in terms of your collection of articles.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe it's worth clarifying here that all the materials will be on Blackboard. So when you finish this course and you go away, that Blackboard space just gonna disappear. And we wanted for you guys to have something that you can take with you. This is why we're using Medium. This is gonna be a scrapbook that we have created as a cohort on artificial intelligence that you can take with you once you finish this course. Okay? Yeah? All right. Andy, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, just saying it would be really helpful if people could start filling some things in there, because again, that would give us a good feel for the sorts of things you're going to be interested in, the sorts of things that are grabbing your attention. So it would be really helpful to get an idea of the sorts of stories that are working for you, because that'll actually, one, it's going to be interesting to all of you anyway, but also then to help us to make sure that as we go through the course, we can make sure that it sort of maps quite well to the sort of things you might be interested in as we're developing it through.
So the other thing, just before I talk about assessment, which is everybody's favourite part, the other thing to add to that is bring your own expertise to the table, okay? So this is a mixed cohort. So what we want is we want somebody who's studying, say, history or human geography or physics to bring what they know about these topics that other people won't know. Other people, including us, you know. So when you respond to these things, when you read them, remember that you're coming to it with a kind of unique mindset, unique set of skills. So don't be afraid to use that, because it's going to be for the benefit of everyone. Okay, so assessment, right. So we've got 3 pieces of assessment. You'll notice there's no exam, so that's good. So it's all coursework. And it's split into 3. And in each case, you have individual marks, although a lot of it is based around group work. So let's explain how that works. Okay, so we've got a group case study, which is on Blackboard, isn't it? Yeah? Okay, yes, a group case study on Blackboard. Don't worry about reading through this now. These notes are on Blackboard. So this is looking at, as Andy said, at a local company, Auto Trader, and how they are using artificial intelligence within their business. So what we want you to do here is you're going to be divided into groups. So we will put you into groups, and there'll be online groups. So you are free to meet if you wish, but we structure the course so you don't have to do that because we know people have different timetables. So you'll be using things like Medium and other tools to interact with each other. And you are going to be looking at this problem together, okay? So you're going to be trying to help each other, again, thinking about different backgrounds, understand these issues, discussing them. So you'll be asked a series of questions that you need to answer using the case study, sort of looking at, how they've structured what they do, what sort of data they're using, how are they using it, what are the consequences of that, and so on. So this will all be in your course materials. And in terms of the group work mark, you get an individual mark. Okay, so the mark is for how the group functions, but it's allocated on an individual basis. So what this means is, for everybody who is always slightly afraid of group work, 'cause group work's the best, and when groups work really well, it's fantastic. But when they break down, students worry about their marks. This is understandable. So the way that we do this is by looking at how you're interacting. What's your contribution to the group? So if you're somebody who tries to interact, who helps other people, who kind of is supportive in that way, who takes part in all the discussions, then you'll do well. And if you're somebody who doesn't do anything, then you'll do less well. So we kind of look at it from that perspective. So you get an individual mark for kind of your contribution to this. Then you write an essay, and this will be based on what you've found out in your group. So it's still looking at the same case study, but you'll be asked to write an essay where we ask you some questions, and you need to reflect on that. So it's around 2,000 words. So it's not, we're not asking you to produce anything that's particularly enormous. And then we'll do the individual project as well, which is, I was going to say it's the fun bit. It's all fun. Yay. But the individual project is where you get to write some code, okay? So what we're doing is we're structuring this. It's structured in a very careful way so that what we have is it's called a notebook. And we have instructions written in plain English, interleaved with little bits of code, little snippets of code. And we invite you to edit the code, to run it, just press a button to run it, see what happens. And this way, you start understanding how it is that we actually create these kind of technologies. So you get real hands-on experience with that. So it's nothing to worry about. It's all very straightforward in the way it's laid out, but it gives you this kind of, once you start to understand how computer programs are put together, that gives you a kind of unique power, I think, that you have that enables you to sort of understand a little bit more about how technology works. So that's just worth 20%. And with the essays are sort of 1,500 to 2,000 words, and with these two, the case study and the individual project, these are not essays. They're based much more around how you're working within the group and a series of questions, basically, that you answer. So these are 3 or 4 questions where you would just write answers to them. So this isn't a long essay, right? It's about sort of demonstrating your understanding, not kind of writing loads and loads of text. So anything you'd like to add to that, Andy?
No, I think it's very much about that feeling of we're interested in how you tracking the sort of the journey you take in your learning around this. It's also seen to say that we do a lot of this group work in some of the other stuff I do with the NHS, and it works well. And some groups will choose to work completely online, which is great, and we can see it there. Other groups will choose to meet up at various times and discuss things there, which is also good. So some of the groups we'll see they'll have a meeting and they will post the minutes of that meeting to the bulletin board. So they might not have the discussion actually in the bulletin boards, but you might post the minutes of the discussions you've had in the bulletin board, but it'll be there for everyone to see. So however you choose to do it, either online or face-to-face, as long as we can have evidence for that works well. And it's something we use a lot, I said, for the training we do into the people like in the NHS, where we're training people from different hospitals that can't easily get together.
Right. Something to add here. Regarding the coding part, I think it's worth mentioning that you will be assessed on your reflections while experiencing code. Okay? So you're not going to be assessed on the quality of the coding that you might interact with. Make sense? Yeah. So we don't expect you to be programmers at the end of this course. Just to clarify this.
No, I think that's really important to touch on, so what we're going to do is we're going to get you to play with some stuff. and then answer some questions. This will give you an opportunity to sort of see how it's working. So you just get to mess about, and you can make as many mistakes as you want, and you can do anything as daft as you want, and nobody's going to care about that. But you just answer the questions afterwards, okay? And so you're kind of demonstrating that you, through playing with it, you've sort of started to get an idea of what's going on. So really, I'll just write, no one will look at the actual computer code you write, so don't worry about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there are going to be sessions there to support you for that, so they're going to be drop-in sessions. Okay, sorry, Anna.
Having said that, there will be plenty of help and support throughout the semester. So we have the tutors who are experts in their fields, and they will facilitate your online interactions. So each group will be assigned into a tutor. They will help you throughout. We're also going to have drop-in sessions starting from week 3. So these are completely optional. They are for you guys if you want to ask any questions on the learning materials, the modules that we will cover on Blackboard, or if you need any help on the group work. Okay, and all the coding, yes, Press and Paul will be there. They will help us with all the infrastructure. If any help, any questions, drop-in sessions. Okay, yes.
Is that an either-or session, or do we need to enroll?
Sorry?
Like, is that you either go for the Tuesday session or the Friday session?
You can attend which one you want. Same thing. We'll be there. If you turn up, you can ask us questions. It's just like a drop-in session. You just
it's just for asking questions. So there won't be any delivery of material at that point.
Exactly. Yes. No delivery of materials. Just you can attend, and we can ask you. We can answer your questions. Right. So these are in Kilburn building. This is building number 39 on campus map. You will find all of the information on Blackboard under the unit calendar. There are also lots of resources on Blackboard on how to write a good essay, how to write a good reflection, so just have a look. You'll find loads online. And last thing, you can email us with any questions. This is the course unit email, anything you might have. Let's get started. So if you haven't enrolled already, do so before the 8th of February. You can have a look on Blackboard, you can read through the unit information, you can follow the instructions on getting started. Please make a note of all the dates that are on the unit calendar. Please create an account on Medium. You already done that, thumbs up. Add the drop-in sessions into your calendars if you need any help. And last thing is you can work through Module 1, which is Robots in Our Lives, on Blackboard. This is going to be released on Wednesday, and we will be releasing every week's materials on Wednesdays at 12 noon. Mm-hmm. Yeah? That's all. Any questions?
What do you mean by you have to enroll?
Sorry?
What do you enroll?
Do you want to use that so we can capture it in? Yeah.
No, just when it said you have to enroll by the 8th.
Are you enrolled on Blackboard?
Like it's on my Blackboard
Yes.
website. Is that all that you have to
Yes.
do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
You had a question? No questions?
On Medium, can we use usernames and some of the more sensitive or controversial ethical stuff? I don't know if we want to leave a footprint of that for everyone to see, especially if you don't really understand it.
So I think if it's an article, it is fine to point at articles. So we'll be pointing at quite a lot of articles that are actually quite controversial. There's some really interesting things going on at the moment. So if you look at the world of face recognition and terrorism.
Sure. But I mean, as we're learning stuff and don't know so much, we may not want to leave a footprint online of all this stuff.
So I guess what I would say is it makes things more difficult if people don't use their usual name. So what I'd suggest is if you have something that you'd like to discuss or share with people that is more sensitive, where you don't want an external footprint, which we can understand, you do that via Blackboard rather than via Medium, and that way that information will not be shared with anyone external to the course unit, in fact. So.
Cool.
Yeah. Any other questions? No?
But yeah, that's a very timely and relevant thing to bring up, actually.
Yeah. So people wanted to have a talk to Pepper or
Yes, yeah. Last thing, I think we're very glad that we have such a diverse audience in this course unit, because we really think that this is very important. This is a topic, this is a new technology that will come in our lives. It's already here. The fourth industrial revolution is coming, and we have to get prepared for it. So we need such a diverse audience coming together, sharing ideas, sharing experiences, like insights, opinions, so we can move forward. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you guys for being here. See you soon.
so if you have questions or you want to come and just have a look at Pepper or something, then just going to pop around.